Imagine this. It's the dead of winter in medieval Europe. The wind howls outside, frost clings to stone walls, and the only thing standing between you and the bone-chilling cold is centuries-old ingenuity. No modern furnaces, no electric heaters, just medieval innovation at its finest. But what if I told you that some of these ancient heating methods were not only effective, but in some cases even better than the systems we rely on today? Stick around, because today we're uncovering forgotten medieval heating methods that could outshine your furnace. Winters in the Middle Ages were no joke. Snow-covered roads, freezing castles, and long nights made survival a challenge. But people back then weren't just shivering in their cloaks. They had clever ways to keep warm. From underfloor heating to medieval hot water bottles, their methods might surprise you. So let's dive into these forgotten heating techniques and see how they might still be useful today. The hypocaust system, the medieval radiant heating. Let's start with one of the most advanced heating methods of the medieval world, the hypocaust system. Originally a Roman invention, this underfloor heating system was still in use during the Middle Ages, particularly in monasteries and the homes of the wealthy. Here's how it worked. A fire was lit in a separate chamber, and the hot air traveled through a network of tunnels beneath the floors and inside the walls. This kept rooms cozy, even during the coldest months. The closest thing we have today is radiant floor heating, which many people consider the most efficient way to heat a home. But the medieval hypocaust, it was doing this centuries before modern technology caught up. Inglenook fireplaces, giant medieval heat sources. Now let's talk about the Inglenook fireplace, a massive open hearth big enough for an entire family to sit around, sometimes even large enough to step inside. Unlike modern fireplaces that lose a lot of heat up the chimney, Inglenooks were designed to absorb and radiate heat. The thick stone structure would store warmth and slowly release it over time. People would cook, tell stories, and even sleep near these fireplaces to stay warm through the night. Some medieval homes even had built-in stone benches around the hearth, perfect for warming up after a long day. Bed warmers, the medieval heated blankets. Ever slipped into an ice-cold bed on a winter night? Medieval people had a fix for that. Bed warmers. These were metal pans filled with hot coals or heated stones, placed between the sheets before bedtime. The heat would spread through the bedding, making it nice and toasty. For those who couldn't afford fancy metal pans, simply heated stones wrapped in cloth did the trick. It's the medieval version of an electric blanket. Heated stones, the portable heat source. Speaking of heated stones, these weren't just for beds. Medieval people used them everywhere. Large stones were heated by the fire, then wrapped in cloth and placed at the foot of the bed under cloaks, or even carried around for warmth. It's a simple but highly effective method that's still used in some parts of the world today. Kachelofen tile stove, the medieval power heater. Now this one is truly impressive. In medieval Germany and Eastern Europe, homes featured Kachelofen tile stoves. These weren't ordinary stoves. They were engineering masterpieces. A small fire would be lit inside, and the stove's ceramic tiles would absorb and slowly release heat throughout the day, even after the fire was out. Some Kachelofen were so efficient that they could heat an entire house with just a few logs per day. These stoves were so good that some people in Europe still use them today. Thick tapestries and rush mats. Medieval insulation. Medieval castles might have looked grand. They were terrible at retaining heat. That's why people used thick tapestries, rush mats, and wool carpets to insulate their homes. Tapestries weren't just for decoration. They trapped heat, blocked drafts, and made rooms significantly warmer. Floors were covered with rush mats or wool rugs to prevent the cold from seeping through. It was a medieval version of home insulation, feasting and body heat, the power of gatherings. Believe it or not, body heat played a big role in medieval warmth. Great halls were designed to accommodate dozens, even hundreds of people. A packed feast with roaring fires and torches burning provided an incredible amount of warmth. The takeaway? If you're cold, Throw a party. Enclosed beds. The cozy sleeping pods. Another clever trick? Enclosed beds. These were wooden box beds with doors or curtains that trapped body heat inside. It was like having your heat chamber. In some places, entire families would sleep together in enclosed beds to stay warm. Cozy or claustrophobic? You decide. Medieval people weren't helpless against the cold. They had brilliant heating techniques that were effective, sustainable, and in some cases, better than what we use today. So, which of these surprised you the most? Would you trade your furnace for a hypocaust system or a Kachelofen stove? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into medieval life, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for more fascinating history.